Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie comic interview. It is your Cape Crusader, Cody, and we are keeping it geekly with our brand new friend, Pam Cake. We're here to break down their manga, Art of War, and so much more. How are you doing, Pam? Welcome to the stream, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here. And thank you for allowing me to on.
Yeah, not a problem. We both share a love for cats, so I knew instantly right off the bat we had to get this interview going. We had to break this down. The love of cats drew us together, and I got to be honest, what I read I really loved. I thought the characters we were introduced with in chapters 1, 2, and 3 were pretty phenomenal. I love the direction, and then the concept of this too. You have your characters draw their weapons, which I thought was just really, really fascinating. So let's kind of just break into that concept and start off with that. You know, what kind of inspired you to go with that concept for your manga?
I was actually doing another webtoon, and it was just kind of like an off-brand idea that I kind of had. And then it just kind of evolved over time. Then I kind of saw a reference of like, I think it's Sai from Naruto and also Tintin from Naruto. And the way he just draws on a scroll and he kind of does his little chakra technique. Then I just started thinking, why can't I just do like, draw your weapon, Art of War? It was like, it just came together perfectly.
Yeah,
like,
I love
cliche,
the name too.
A little phrase. It's like, I don't know, it's just like a perfect little scenario. Then after I started writing a story, I just kind of came up with all these concepts to add. Like they'll have like it's called Ki Serum Energy, which is the equivalent to like chakra or just ki in any other series. So it was just kind of something that came together really nicely and smooth.
We have Elena over on Twitch saying good morning, and then J. Michael Miller over on YouTube saying he likes the logo too. I thought the logo looks pretty phenomenal. So, Pam, you said you were working on another a webtoon at the time, correct?
Yeah.
Manga?
Good morning, Elena. The other webtoon is called Program Makani on webtoons.
Was that your first like break into like doing this type of medium, or have you been like creating for some other time?
Yeah, always kind of been into something, but as far as like a story, yes, that was my first attempt into it, and that was kind of like what broke me into knowing that that's what I wanted to do. It was kind of, I saw the webtoon contest like a few years back, 2018, and I wrote the story like immediately, like Program Makani. It was just like a little sci-fi story. I was kind of into like, I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn at the time.
Like what a good game. Yeah,
it's a really good game.
You play Forbidden West yet?
No, I have not.
Yeah, I just beat it not too long ago, and whew, it is so good. Like, it's rare that they can do a sequel, like a game of that magnitude, a sequel just as good, but I thought they really nailed it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I do want to play that. It was kind of one of those things where I was playing that at the time. I had on like these cyborg kind of ideas, and I really wanted to capitalize on sci-fi. I thought sci-fi was a good niche to go into instead of just straight action.
So what was the concept about?
Basically, a cyborg. So a cyborg mixed with a human. He was dug up underground, or he was underground on Earth for about 100 years. And a girl, archaeologist, apprentice, her name is Deli. She's kind of the main character along with the main character Makani. Like they're kind of co-main characters. She actually discovers him by mistake, or while she's on a site with her apprentice, with her archaeologist. Like, she's an apprentice to an archaeologist, so she was with him. They discovered Makani by mistake, and when they discovered him, he kind of saved their lives because they kind of were being chased down by leopards at the time.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was kind of like a wild first chapter.
And you said we kind of saw traces of Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, that's I was just saying it evolved from there. It's just like a sci-fi thing.
So you said we saw traces of Art of War within that though, right? There was certain parts of it that kind of led to Art of War.
From there, I would say probably the energy thing, because in Program Makani, I had this thing called particle energy, where it's kind of the same thing as chakra. And so when I wanted to do Art of War, I wanted to change the name a little bit. I wanted to do Ki, just because Ki is something I kind of grew up with watching like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
But I wanted to change or add a little extra on it, so I put in Ki Serum. So it'll kind of be like, it's energy still, but it's kind of a little more liquid. And to me, liquid kind of went kind of good, just because this Art of War, we're kind of drawing, and it's like kind of like painting kind of. There's a couple scenes in Art of War where they're kind of like painting their weapons, and it's kind of like they're peeling off the weapons when they're materializing them. They're kind of peeling it off, like as if it were like paint, and it was
Yeah.
like it just comes out in real life, like as material.
So when it sizzles, what action's happening? Going back to Art of War, like when they draw the weapons, I noticed there was a little sound effects around them, and it said sizzle sizzle. So what's that supposed to indicate?
Indicating like the glowing of, I guess, the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably like the action. It's the action of the weapon actually getting prepared to be materialized off the paper and pulled into the physical world. Because they're drawing it, like with a regular pencil or a pen, and then they're using the Keystone energy to pretty much ignite the weapon and pull it off the page and materialize it.
Yeah, no, that is really cool. That is really cool. So with Art of War, we're introduced to 3 different main characters. Do you want to go ahead and introduce them and break them down for us?
Yes. So chapter 1 is kind of like it's technically a prologue chapter, you could call it, but it's chapter 1, and we start out with Ronin. Ronin is a samurai. He's an artist samurai from the 1200s.
Mm-hmm.
And during his time in the 1200s, he was an artist, a famous artist that pretty much freed a whole region just from being like oppressed by a dictator. And a dictator who wasn't fond of artists, especially because artists are kind of like they're equivalent to like the super beings of the world. Like you have normal humans, then humans that are born artists, and if you're
Mm-hmm.
born an artist, you have key serum energy within your body, and if you're a normal human, you just have the normal human body. So it's like
So any artist in your world is capable of doing this. They're able to draw like weapons and animate them from the paper.
yep, that's their special power.
Cool.
And quote unquote artist is like one out of I think it's 1 out of 16. 1 out of every 16 people born are artists, so it's kind of like a low number, like a low rate.
Mhm.
But it's been happening like that since the beginning of time. That's why we start off with Ronin in the 1200s, and then we move over to Sketch. He's another famous artist, but he was from the 1980s. And in the 1980s, he fought off gangs, like just crime and gangs within the city that he was in. He's from Pacific City, which is technically equivalent to like Los Angeles. It's called Pacific City just because I tried to do like the Pacific Ocean, like that side of the coast.
And then I think we had Aaron, chapter 2 and 3?
Yep, 2 and 3, we actually introduce our main character. Her name is Erin Baker, and she's in the modern time. So she just like in the I just call it the modern time, like the today of now, like time. And introducing her, I just want to organically introduce Erin as a time-bent student who's clearly not good at keeping track of time.
Yeah.
She's kind of I guess clumsy with time. She's kind of everywhere, a little sporadic, and she's kind of random, and she definitely has a little flustery personality. Chapter 2 was kind of that introduction. Chapter 3 it goes more into how she's pretty much bad at time because she was trying to get to a certain event. She's running around crashing into people with doors.
Yeah.
She's getting her scooter crushed by trucks driving by. Erin is definitely she's a peculiar character to write. It was definitely pretty fun writing a character that way. Because in my previous one, Program Makani, the main character Makani, he was just really silent. He's like a silent type of character.
Mhm.
So writing him was a whole different story, like a whole different type of way to write him. So when I came to Aaron as a main character that was like kind of bubbly and talks a lot, makes jokes, use sarcasm a lot, it was just way different and I want to say a whole lot more fun.
So how'd you train yourself to be able to write dialogues for not only one person but 3, compared to a protagonist that didn't really have much of a speaking role?
It was definitely experience because with Program Makani, I want to say I actually finished the entire story, like as far as like writing and dialogue. Like I finished like the entire story. I would say it's 108 chapters, so it was like a whole story. It had like 6 different arcs, so I got a lot of writing experience there.
How long did that take you to complete? That's a lot.
Actually, just the writing part. 2018, end of 2018 to about end of 2019. Like
Are all the chapters like 10 to like 18 pages too?
Yeah, Program Makani was actually
wow.
pretty much longer. Yeah, definitely about 20, 22 pages. And it was webtoon form, so they were just really long. Like a lot of times when I upload it on the webtoons, I have to break it into two, like a part A, part B.
So what's some of the biggest differences between creating a webtoon compared to a manga?
I would say the length of the chapters. Like Program Makani was definitely longer chapters. Like I want to say a chapter in Program Makani, if you did it to pages, it'll be about between 25, 30 pages. But Art of War, we're coming out at about 13 to 20 pages, and it's just a different pace, I want to say. Another thing I'll point out, I guess the actions that I have, like it's the way I end chapters. Like I would say ending chapters are pretty important. It was important in Program Makani, but in the manga version, I would say just a little bit more important because manga's a little bit different. Like when I was doing a webtoon, I looked at it more like a Western style comic, kind of something like Static Shock. Like Static Shock was probably that was like a big influence on Program Makani, just like a little engineering character who can kind of work around tools and technology. I would say just the way I end chapters and the pacing for the manga is different.
I gotta say the way you end the chapters here really entices you to want to continue. How many chapters do you have planned out for Art of War? With you already being on chapter 3, like, do you see this spanning out as long as your previous project?
Yeah, I'm actually done writing it already, and yeah, it's way longer. It's I don't want to say the exact page or exact chapters yet, but I will say it's 200 plus chapters.
Wow, that is remarkable. So, I mean,
yeah, it's all written out and it's all dialogue too. Like even panel numbers, like all the panels are numbered from 1 to whatever how many panels are in the chapter. Usually between 1 and 50.
So what all goes into the creative process for you when you're writing this out and paneling it out?
I want to say just being active. Like mostly all the chapters were done when I was out, like at work, pretty much. Because I work in a job where I'm moving around a lot all day, like on my feet. So I kind of just like I would be thinking about it as I'm working, and then once I get a break, like a little chance to break, I would just go like right at it and kind of just open up my notes and kind of just.
That's awesome.
Just get to writing it. It took literally all of last year, so 2021. I started last year around like January, and then I got done literally on New Year's Eve when I wrote the final chapter. So yeah, it was like a all year type thing, and it was really fun because the way it I felt like it was all fresh because I did it frequently, so I was just like really immersed into it. I did it very frequent, like kind of like an everyday type thing, and everything was just fresh. Like all the chapters, I reread all the chapters, I edited all the chapters, like edited, paneled them, went down and numbered them. Some chapters I went back and changed some stuff or added some more depth to certain arcs or areas. Yeah, the writing process for me is just kind of just staying active. I would just say stay fun and stay active, and yeah, just I don't know, just put your personality into it a little bit.
Yeah, so let's go ahead. Let's start breaking down chapter 1. I think we kind of built up enough hype for it. So right here is the first page of Art of War chapter 1. So go ahead and give us a little bit of a breakdown on what we're seeing right here.
It's kind of like up close expressions of Ronin. The setting there is Eastern Lands 1233. That's the time zone Ronin is from. Ronin is a samurai from the 1200s, and he went down as a famous artist who freed a whole region. So yeah, he's definitely like if I had to rank all the artists throughout the history, like I definitely would say Ronin would at least be number 2. Like I have a lot of Kanan in my head about like artists from different time zones and the most famous ones out there, and I would definitely say he's at least number 2 for sure.
Let me like I said, I had to pull this up in a folder. It was different. I got to reshare the folder. Here we go. I shared the wrong thing. I'm new to sharing this type of folder, so I'm learning along the way. My apologies.
Oh yeah, it's all good.
Here we go. Hold
Yeah,
on.
Ronan was he was also another character when writing. It was pretty fun to write because he's more on the cool side of things. I would say.
All right. Let me get this. This should be because I was getting ready to scroll and it wouldn't let me scroll, but now it will. So, Ronan, you said is one of your second favorites. So, who's your first favorite?
Well, my personal favorite is Ronan, like himself.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to like rank like in strength, like who's probably the strongest artist of like all time?
I meant your favorite samurai. Didn't you say he was based off of your second favorite?
Oh yeah, he was like one of my favorite samurai characters is Rurouni Kenshin. Kenshin Himura. That's his name from that manga or that anime. And I really wanted someone like him who was just really like god tier in like swordsmanship and speed and agile, pretty much overpowered. And then I kind of like Giyu from Demon Slayer, so I kind of wanted that's kind of how I went about his hair and kind of like his style and face, and even some Sasuke in there a little bit from Naruto. So
you said you had a studio working on the art for this for chapter 1 for you, correct?
Yep, this is actually like this chapter is it has been produced 3 different times. It's produced by one artist and then it was produced by a second artist. And both times I kind of just had this feeling where I needed something, just something different. And I found the studio. It was Kai-Fi Studios. They're actually out in Los Angeles, and we became like a perfect match. Like we're really good communicating. We're really good sharing ideas. Like a lot of some of the ideas, I'll point them out, was actually the artist's ideas. And it's just been a really good connection that we've had.
So this chapter 1's been drawn 3 different times?
Yeah, like I have a couple different versions for this.
So you got to pay out of pocket for all 3 of those, or were they just kind of like rough drafts?
No, yeah, I paid the artist when they did it because at the time they were going to be the artist, and then I kind of like saw the artwork, and I kind of just went a different route. It was kind of like third time's the charm type thing.
Yeah. How was that? Was it hard, like kind of breaking the news to them, or I mean, it was one of those things where they got their money, so they were pleased?
Yeah, actually the first artist, he's really good as far as like drawing people. His weakness was backgrounds, and he's actually getting better than that because I actually have a one shot of Art of War, and he's actually the artist for that, and his backgrounds have improved very much, and we're actually really good friends. At the time though, I would say it was definitely like something I had to think about, and it was kind of hard like telling him or bringing it up to him. But yeah, he's definitely improved his artwork as far as backgrounds, and he's always been like amazing when it came to drawing characters. And we're actually working on a one shot. We can talk about that later if you would like to. It's a one shot of Art of War, and it's actually from another time zone. It's the early 1900s that one shot is about.
So, do we ever see these 3 like meet up, or is it just telling their point of views from like different time eras?
For the core story, it's all one core story. It's kind of like they're all like together. So Ronan is in the 1200s. Then Sketch is in the 1980s, and then you see at the end of this chapter they kind of mysteriously disappear. So it kind of just it gives you the hint of what goes on later, especially with the cover. Like I'm not sure if we showed the cover of Art of War yet, but
is that the one with the 3?
Yeah, it's kind of like
that's been rotating underneath us. When I downloaded the package, it didn't download as a cover, so it was hard for me to kind of like show it like this. But I did have that rotating underneath us.
Okay, well, yes. Eventually, they all 3 will meet up in the modern day, and the story takes place actually in the modern day, like the entire story. It's kind of like a time transport thing with the Ronan and Sketch. Like they're the only 2 people that will be out of time in the story.
All right, so right here we see them surrounded, and then page 3, right here, they're getting ready to, the dude's yelling, "Kill them!" And then we see Ronan's like, "Well, you did ask." Like, I love the little the smug smirk right here.
Yeah, definitely. Ronan's confident. He's definitely a confident character. He definitely has some sarcasm to him. And he's definitely overpowered for sure. As you can see at the bottom of the page, he's just grinning kind of the whole time because he kind of knows like they're good to go. So they don't really have to worry about it for real.
With your artist, like what type of direction did you give him for this beginning part?
The directions. Well, he kind of looked at the drafts, the former drafts, and he kind of went from there. But it's kind of the same ideal that I kind of wanted to be. I wanted them to be surrounded. I wanted the second character. His name is Mako. Actually, he's like a friend of Ronin's in the 1200s. I wanted him to be kind of asking like, or just kind of saying out loud, like pretty much having like a sarcastic back and forth, like we're done right now, and is this it? Is this like our last like hurrah, basically? And then it's kind of like a indication that Ronin is smiling. He knows for sure that these samurai are on his level, and he's kind of like one of those characters that he's a master on the battlefield. Like he uses the environment, he uses his skill and his intellect, and he just know his skill level is basically S tier, and he don't really have nothing to worry about most of the time.
Yeah, I got you.
He does enjoy a good fight though.
So, are they able to just draw weapons, or are they able to draw whatever they want to?
Actually, yes, they can draw whatever they want to. Like in the webtoon link I sent you, where it's kind of like a news story. They kind of I kind of explained there, like, or one of the characters. I have chibis like explaining everything. Like one of the characters, they actually explain that artists are really useful in like the architect industry, and they actually are basically they're useful in more than one place, not just fighting. They're like good in society. Like artists are literally a part of society, like in this story.
Okay. Yeah, no, that is cool. That it's really interesting to see how far and capable this art can go within this world. What type of villains can we expect to see before we kind of start breaking down more of chapter 1, like antagonists and stuff?
I would say definitely some surprise type of villains. Definitely some theme villains. Like I had some ideas with the art, like a type of artist too, because I mean a normal artist of course can draw his weapon, but there's different type of art out there. So I had an idea of like a clay artist, so like a artist that can like rub out some clay and then make the clay into a real weapon. And then some other even like just cross themes, like I had a family of like cookers, like a kitchen family. They had ran a restaurant, so they were all, when they drew their weapons, they would always draw like cutlery type weapons, like the
That's
meat
cool.
cutting, the sears and stuff like that, and just like sharp kitchen type weapons. So it's kind of like cross theme. So it's kind of like a different type of artists, like clay artists, then like different cross themes, like people from out the kitchen drawing like kitchen type of weapons. And
I really like how you're incorporating the different mediums of art too, like the clay. That just seems like such a cool concept.
Yeah, it's definitely a couple different mediums for sure.
So right here we are in Pacific City, year 1983. We see one of our protagonists, Sketch, hitting a high score, 2,000 points from the highest score. So who's Sketch, and what's his part in all of this?
Sketch he's a famous artist, another kind of like similar to Ronin, but he's from the 1980s instead of 1200s. And in the 1980s, he fought off gangs like within the city. He kind of made a big difference and impact, and just lowered all the crime in the entire city just by his presence alone. Kind of like a vigilante type thing, but more along, he was probably I would say working with the police like the whole time.
So with these gangs, like, could graffiti be considered weapons as well? Like what distinguishes, like makes it where it doesn't peel off the wall?
The difference between it's just an artist and a normal person, essentially. Like that's definitely another idea I had with a graffiti. Like if I had a graffiti artist in the world, like they definitely can spray some graffiti on the wall like as a weapon, and then like kind of like pull it off and make a weapon. That was another idea I actually had too. Yeah,
right
like
here
these guys.
We see Sketch and his friend talking about beating the highest score, and then Sketch runs into one of those street gangs you were talking about.
This is I would say this is early in Sketch's like artist career, where he actually started maybe fighting off like crime and gangs and stuff. And yeah, he's just pretty much on his way home, essentially, like on his way home. And these guys, they clearly know Sketch from before, the way they kind of groom him down, and they kind of already know his name. They probably just just kind of hassle him a lot, just because they probably just don't like him, or he just rubs them the wrong way.
Yeah,
Probably being too cool, being too smug about everything.
you see him trying to walk away without incident, but this guy definitely is looking to pick a fight.
Yeah, like that middle panel there, that's one of the panels that I love a lot. Like Sketch just walking right past him when he tries to talk to him. Oh, I know you often do like comics and stuff, but yeah, you do read right to left for like people viewing up there.
So this is where he goes to swing at him, and he ducks and misses, and this is where I love this part too. He starts to kind of dog them for their graffiti and their technique. No texture details aren't too sharp. I thought that was pretty humorous too. Yeah.
He gives them like a little personal critique.
And then that, of course, encourages these guys to all surround them and bust out their weapons. And then, yeah, today's the day we'll teach you about personal design, which I thought was pretty humorous as well.
Yeah, I try to make it a little extra, a little out of the ordinary. He talks about a personal design. He tells him he's gonna make them into a kirigami, which is like a paper that you cut up to make art with.
So what was the importance of the airplane right here? Because I noticed Sketch looking up at it. Was there any importance right here at all?
It was the panel was really supposed to be kind of like Sketch looking up, and he's pretty much looking up, ignoring the guy when he's talking, and that's why the next panel he's like, "Are you not listening?" The plane don't really have significance or any significance stuff. It's just like a plane up there.
And then this is kind of where we start to see the whole drawing weapons coming to life in action. You know, he busts out his drawing pad, dodging this strike too. Man, so what happens when their fingers get broken? Are they able to still like do anything, or are they kind of SOL?
I would say they would have to compensate for that, because it's pretty much just like a real fight, like a warrior on warrior fight. So like if your finger breaks or something, you gotta kind of compensate for it. Like I used to watch Bleach all the time, and it's a character in there. He got his leg, or he got his body started getting controlled. So what he did was cut off his arteries and his arm, just so he can still fight and have control of his body. I forgot the name of that character. Oh, that
seems insane. Yeah, that seems insane. Holy crap. So we see our man bust out his pen. Things are about to get heated. Busting out this nice little double blade dagger, it looks like. And right here, they're all like, is he drawing? Like, do they know what he's capable of, or are they just kind of shocked and wondering what's going on?
Yeah, artists are definitely known around the world, but like I said, it's 1 out of every 16 humans, so you don't pretty much know who's the artist. It's kind of like probably happened out of nowhere for them.
And then quickly he's able to like just straight up dismantle all of them. He pulls it from the page. They're all like, what's going on? And then we see him in the next panel just go through and just decimate all of them.
Yeah, it was kind of like one of those vertical, kind of like a motion panel where he's really going fast, just disarming everybody.
I really like the sense of direction too. The artist did a really good job, like kind of keeping the direction going.
I would say that's another point for chapter 1. Is kind of, I wanted to get the mechanic off. I wanted to show the mechanic the very first chapter, just so you don't really have to wait to see it later, and you kind of get a general idea.
And then right here, he says, that was a perfect lesson. What other way would you draw your weapons? And then,
it's like a title drop.
And then we see him get sucked in. He disappears and just vanishes in the middle of after the fight. And they have no idea what's going on. Does Sketch know what's going on at this point, or is he kind of surprised as well?
Yeah, he's definitely surprised. Like, that's why he said, "Am I missing something?" And then he kind of just disappears. Pretty much, and that's I would say that's probably what Ki serum kind of looks like. It looks like pretty much like energy, like regular chakra or like energy.
So what's going on here though? Is someone drawing him, or is that something you don't want to spoil?
Oh no, it's literally just Ki serum energy like around his body, like just but it's not his own. He's like wondering what's going on because it's someone else.
What caused this though? Is what I was trying to get at.
Oh, that's definitely something that it gets explained later. Because
Okay,
right
all
now
right.
in the chapter, it kind of just happens.
No, I gotcha. I gotcha. And then we go back to Ronan after his fight, and we kind of just skip over the battle and just see the remaining soldiers laying on. Or is this his party, or are these the other guys?
Oh, it's the other guys, the enemies.
So
They're kind
yeah,
of just
we
laying around.
see the enemies all laying down, beaten, and then Ronan and his friend right here having their
Mako.
little chat. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
got them all without even killing one. So he's able to dismantle them without taking a life.
Uh-huh.
And
It
then
kind of
right here-
alludes to something later, but he says, "Well, I did promise, didn't I?" Like it's something he promised.
Let's see, aren't you used to me saving your butt by now? So I love seeing the little banter between these two.
Hmm.
And then you're right, I wouldn't know what to do if you suddenly disappeared. What a nice little foreshadowing too. This when I read this initially the first time I didn't catch that, but like going through it a second time with you, like I'm like, okay, like I don't know how I didn't catch that. And then seeing as I need a vacation, I just might. And then this is like the humorous part too, because we see him kind of just lean back and everything, and then he starts to vanish as well.
Yeah, just as a sketch did.
So when you were talking to your artist about designing this panel, like what type of descriptions were you using? Was this hard to like kind of like portray to them to kind of get them to design this the way you wanted?
Not really. I was just showing them like different examples, kind of references and stuff like that. Also, like I am the writer, but I use Clip Studio myself, so I actually draft a lot of the pages now.
Okay.
Like I do the paneling, I put the angles and the positions, and then I kind of I turn it over to the artist, and then let him get an even better idea. It kind of just makes it really efficient, like as a team.
Yeah. And I think it really helps. Helps them know what you want exactly from this. So that sounds like it definitely helps kind of keep the direction of the story moving. Now, This is the end. Chapter 1 is only the beginning. And we see him left here wondering where his friend went.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's the end of the chapter there.
Yeah, that's the end of Art of War. What a beautiful book. I love the art. I love the story. Thank you for going through that with us as well. Now, what are we looking at for the future? When can we expect chapter 4 to drop? When are you looking at going to a publisher to get this to print? Let's start talking the future of Art of War.
It's actually that's what I'm getting into now. It's like a publisher thing. I've been kind of sending them to a few publishers, but I haven't really like sent it out. Like I got a little test printing done of that same chapter that we just read. I got a printing out, only about 25 copies, and then I kind of sent it to some English publishers, such as like Yen Press or Tokyo Pop, and then I did like I think Viz Media. Also got in touch with Viz Media through like email submission, but I didn't get no response the first time. But the first time I submitted to them, I didn't have any art yet. I just kind of had the idea, like pretty much like a pitch together. As far as publishing so far, there are a couple publishers that show some interest, but nothing definite. It's actually a publisher called Voice Me, like I think it's called Voice Me, and the actual creator of the like the owner of the company of Voice Me, he actually reached out to me via DM.
That is so
cool. To see more material. Yeah, I was actually really excited about that.
So how did that go? Did you end up hitting him back with more material?
Yeah, he asked for material. I sent him a folder full of material, and he just haven't got back to me yet. This was about a couple days ago, actually.
Oh yeah. And, that time, yeah, that's cool. You're on the brink of something big, I feel.
Oh yeah, and then there's another publisher. It's kind of like a webtoon publisher though. They're called Pocket Comics. The editor there, he wanted to license Art of War, like for a webtoon version of it. And I'm actually I think I alluded to it earlier. Like I have a one shot like of the manga coming out where it's like a different time zone. It's just of another famous artist, but she's from the 1900s. It's just like a story of her time. I actually have a webtoon version of that same story being produced at the same time. I'm actually working with maybe about 4 or 5 artists right now.
So is that the one that's going to be potentially like on the one that wants to license Art of War?
Yeah, they want to they're like a webtoon thing though, so the only thing is they would have to license like a webtoon version of it. And we're getting a one shot made of of that. We're getting a one shot made, and the one shot is going to be a manga and also a webtoon version. So that
That's
maybe can
awesome.
I maybe can see something there. My thing is, I didn't want to get the story locked down too early before I get to a bigger publisher.
Hmm.
Because for me, I wanted my idea is I want the one shot to be like kind of shown somewhere like there's a good it's a good manga online webcomic app. It's called Shrine Comics. There's another one called Pulse and Voice Me. Actually, those are like three good ones right there. I would love if I can get the one shot published at one of those places like before anything else, just so people can get like the idea of the story and kind of
Hmm.
get warm to it before I actually do something with the core story.
So when can we expect to see chapter 4?
Chapter 4 is actually being finished right now. Like I already got the sketches back and already okayed everything to like go forward for like final art. And I already I did the draft work for chapter 5 already. So once he's done with that, I'll just turn the draft work for chapter 5. So everything's kind of going along efficient right now.
How long does it usually take for a chapter to get completed, would you say?
Since I'm working with a studio, it only takes a couple weeks.
Wow, that has
Yeah.
to feel good. That's fast turnaround.
Yeah, definitely. Because when I was working with like I want to say just kind of like a freelance artist,
Mhm.
they have like a bunch of obligations and stuff, like their jobs and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So it takes a bit longer. But if you're working with a studio, it's just way more professional and just way more efficient.
No, that is so cool. Well, Pam, I really appreciate you coming on, breaking down Art of War, and then going through issue 1 with us. Real quick before we start to wrap things up, I always love asking this question in particular because as much as I like this interview being a spotlight for you and your work, it is in an essence like a tool, a learning tool for people watching that are starting out on their own to kind of, they watch you, they get ideas, and then they're able to kind of like do their own thing. Now, with that being said,
Yeah.
for anyone that's kind of struggling to get their idea off the ground and kind of just push through and get their story going, what type of advice would you give them to kind of help push them through any barriers they're facing?
Um, Probably just stay unique to something you can see realistic happening. Like realistically, I can see Art of War like getting published by a publisher and seeing a publisher actually liking what they're seeing. Like with Program Akani, my other webtoon, like I believe it's a really great story and it's really awesome. And I finished it and wrote it and everything, and I got a bunch of artwork done and stuff. But it's more of like a niche story, and people who like sci-fi people who like sci-fi, people who would just offhandedly pick it up on webtoons, like those are the people who would be an audience or who would have an audience for. And that's just like a niche thing to where you only catch like a net of people. For me, with something like Art of War, you can probably catch like you don't really have to work as hard. Like the story just kind of the story and the mechanic of the story, it just works for itself pretty much. So like just go for an idea that you believe that can I will say just stay unique to yourself. Because me, I like Art of War. I like martial arts. That's what it's based on. It's based on art and martial arts. That was my whole theme the whole time. So like martial arts, like fast action, pace. And then like art, I like art, so we can have like a little theme around art and whatnot. Then like draw your weapon. Like it was just really fun for me. Like I know a lot of normal manga or a lot of battle action, like action style manga, they have to do it like demons and yoki and people who are like reapers or like soul reapers and stuff like that. And that's kind of like that's what the mainstream is like out of like Japan and stuff. So like usually people will go towards that style, but I just wanted to go something that was of me that I liked and was also something I feel like everybody else can relate to.
Yeah, and it's off the beaten track too. It's in a different path, and I think that's gonna draw a lot of audience. And I really like your terminology too, using a different net to catch a wider like array of fish. That definitely makes sense. I'm loving what you're doing. Art of War is awesome. I can't wait for chapter 4 to drop. And this was such
another thing I would say is try to just stay organized. Like being organized. Like I'm just like that naturally. Like I vacuum a lot and stuff like that and just clean up. Like if you stay organized, folders and everything just start to clear up. Even for your story, you can organize your story together, organize like how your notes are, just
Mm-hmm.
organize how your chapters are. Like certain arcs where they were really long. Like I got one arc in Art of War that's maybe about 70 chapters, and it's all one arc. So if you just plan it
Wow.
out like ahead of time
Mm-hmm.
and kind of just stay organized, like everything will clear up. Even like your creativity, you'll just notice like you'll even get more creative and even think of more ideas.
Yeah, I have to be organized with what I do because I do, keeping it geekly. I do job for Cody, which is the Twitch side of things, and then I'm a dad, dad first and foremost. But yeah, if you're not organized, like with what I do, like you get consumed by it, you get overwhelmed, you lose everything. Like I have an hour before we stream to set up our stream, and I have to make sure all your social media is correct. I have to make sure all the images look good. I have to make sure everything is like on point. And
oh yeah,
without
you do
organization,
an amazing job too, especially how you got the calendar set up and then the
Thank you.
reminder emails and everything.
Yeah.
Like,
The only thing is that
everything's
reminder
perfect.
for whatever reason will tell people that it's at like 3 a.m, which I don't know how to fix.
Mhm.
But outside of that, I like the reminder. I like it letting people know. And I don't touch it. You set it up. You book the interview, and then everything else is done on the back end of things. I never have to do that.
Oh yeah, see that's perfect. Just making working smart, not harder.
Oh my God! When I first started
I
this,
swear it's a good thing.
my first 20 interviews, I booked everything by hand. So
Mhm.
I'll just give me a second. I'll show you.
Yeah, that even shows like experience. It'll tell you. It'll show you
So, like,
better ways.
When I first did this, what was it? I was booking everything by hand. So like my calendar was like this, like filled. You know what I mean? Writing everything by hand.
Oh wow.
And then translating all the time frames. So I would go through and be like, okay, well, I'm EST, you're CST. Well, this is the time frame I can do, and this is the time frame in your time frame. Like, it literally saved me 3 to 4 hours a week. Because I book 4 to 5 shows a week. So
Oh yeah.
having them be able to like just get into an app, the app asks them all the questions I need, and then when I go to do the interview,
links and everything.
yes, and when I do the interview, I just go off the calendar thing, and it saves so much footwork.
Yeah, that's perfect. It just seems like a very streamlined show. Like everything from the social media is like it's all on point here.
Thank you. I put a lot of work into it because I love it. I love doing this. I love talking to comic creators.
Yeah, I can tell definitely.
Yeah. So I think right now is a perfect time to wrap things up. It is a beautiful, beautiful Thursday. I'm going to try to get some more comic reading and a podcast out later on today. Pam, thank you so much for coming by, breaking down Art of War, going through chapter 1 with us, and just giving your insight on everything as a whole. We really appreciate it. And when you get chapter,
I would definitely love to like even come back when chapter 4 comes out.
Yeah. When you drop chapter 4, let's go ahead and do another breakdown. I would definitely love to get you back on.
Oh, for sure.
So with that being said, guys,
I'm looking forward to that.
We are going to be wrapping things up. We were here with Pam Cake. Be sure to check out the links down below. We have Instagram and Twitter on the screen, but you can actually go to the website and check it out in the descriptions in the link on YouTube and Facebook. With that being said, we are going to be wrapping things up on this beautiful Thursday for the final time. I hope you guys have a good one, and most importantly, keep it geekly.
Have a good day.
All right.